Welcome to Three Blind Wines. My name's Aiyana Thoma. I'm the wine director at ESP HiFi, and I also sell wine for Yes Wines, which is a local distribution company here in Denver, Colorado. Today, we're going to be blinding Justin Freeman, chef at Somebody People, and Sam Maher, owner of Somebody People at ESP HiFi, which is the bar where I am the wine director. It is inspired by Japanese jazz kisas, and I get to play around with a really fun experimental wine list there. So I'm super excited to see what they think.
Today, I'd like to thank ESP for hosting us. I think it's really fun to have a bit of a different surroundings. Arguably the best bar in Denver and best wine bar in Denver.
Let's do it. First wine, let's just go for it. Pretty yellow. I smell a lot of minerality. Those little bubbles on top, I don't know. Maybe some sort of sparkling champagne from Spain would be my guess. Cava? Question mark. Super tasty, minerality throughout the whole entire palate. High acidity, pretty juicy though. Definitely makes you want to have another glass, and I would want something super salty with this.
This is interesting. I would say it's straw color. Got a slight fizz on the outside. It's got a hint of cloud, so maybe one of those natural wines that you will find at ESP HiFi. Really pretty on the nose. Perplexing, like I don't think it's straight champagne. I think it's got this other edge to it, but it definitely feels like it's had lees aging based on there's a little bit of creaminess, got a little like kind of fatness to it, which is kind of sexy. Super dry on the palate. A little bit of funky palate to it, little James Brownie. Definitely not from the Champagne region, so I'm gonna throw that out. I think maybe Spain. So funny, you'd think it'd be like from the nose being so kind of round and a little bit vanilla and kind of toastier. It's got this great kind of buttery brioche palate, but super dry, so it really cleans up nicely.
Region, Spain. Grape varietal, I don't know, but I'm gonna say Cava.
From the Loire Valley, the Garden of Paris, sparkling Vouvray, a Chenin Blanc.
$18 a bottle.
Probably about $42 a bottle in your local bottle shop.
Wine number one is Costadilla's 330 SLM. It is a 100% Galera done in a slightly frizzante style from the Veneto, which is a classic region for Prosecco, but it's done in a much more rustic style. And there's also a little bit of skin contact, which adds a lot of character. Really fun, just playful kind of party bottle. The reason I wanted to pick this wine is because it is technically testable, because it is Galera from the region where Prosecco is traditionally made, but with a lot of natural wines, it's made in just like a slightly different stylistic way. So I thought that'd be fun. It's definitely like the biggest curveball wine of the lineup.
Wine number two, I'm gonna say there's a green hue to this wine. I'm colorblind, so I can't tell, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Definitely get a little bit of like green tart fruit. There's definitely a funk to it. Medium bodied, light acidity, pretty round, hits the palate with nice like saltiness on the back end. I'm gonna say this is an Italian wine. Grape varietal, how do you pronounce that one?
Wine number two, little straw yellowy color. It's pretty reductive on the nose. With reductive winemaking, what they're making wine is for the longevity. So trying to retain acidity and trying to retain structure in the wines. That can blow off in the glass for a little bit, but there is a little hint of sulfur on the nose. Seems super dry, but on the palate, it's pretty juicy. The fruit's kind of neutral, nothing really sticks out. Definitely orchardy, again, that kind of yellow apple, white flowers, blossoms. It's pretty fun. That's not shit. The texture of it is really, really delicious. What could this be? What could this be? Like I'm kind of getting hints of like either Fiano or from Campania or Albarino from Spain, or those kind of coastally little grape varieties, but I'm gonna settle on Albarino. I'm gonna say this is an Albarino, I think from Rice Weiss in Spain. Probably a youngish wine, maybe 22, 23.
Italiano, Verdicchio is the grape.
Galicia region, Rice Weiss in Spain. Albarino from a reputable producer.
And I'm gonna say this is $20.
$38.
Wine number two is the Caractère Cuvée from Domaine Le Brisot in Janière, which is in Loire Valley in France. The wife of the original winemaker, Nathalie Gobichet, took it over, and I love highlighting female winemakers. And Christian Chaussard, who was her late husband, was a phenomenal legendary vigneron in Loire Valley. I just think these wines have so much intrigue. The wine is a 100% Chenin Blanc from 80-year-old vines, which is very old. The wine is made on really like flinty soils. Domaine Le Briseau is a reference to the French word briser, which means to break. And they named the domain that because all of the tools that they've used to work that soil have broken typically. So just some of my favorite wines out of that small region, which is very overlooked in general in France. So super cool.
Spain, in your glass.
Wine number 3. Really sweet, pretty dark yellow, bronzy. I smell a lot of like muddled, cooked down fruit, like raspberries and blueberries and stuff. I would say this is gonna be some sort of dessert wine or finishing wine. Definitely lighter on the palate than I thought. It has a nice little effervescence in it when you hit your palate. This wine is a Portuguese wine. The grape would be this is something that you want to drink at the end of your meal. On the palate, it's pretty sweet, pretty light, and then you have that nice bubbly bite to the ends.
Okay, next, wine number 3 is more of a golden color, clean and clear in the glass. I don't know, let me taste it and I'll find out more details before I just start making stuff up. A hint of orange tang on the nose, ripe pineapple. You know when you grill a lemon, kind of caramelized lemon kind of characteristic out of the wine. Cooking notes like cinnamon and stuff in the wine. Maybe that's my brain telling me that. Dessert quality, not dessert quality, that's the wrong way to say it. Has more of a fuller body quality to the wine. Probably been put in neutral oak or amphora to try and get this quality, because there is like this slightly oxidative characteristic about it, but there doesn't seem to be any pronounced wood or anything like that. So I'm a bit perplexed. I would say this is probably from a warmer climate. So I'm leaning towards Sicily, could be even Greece. So let's say Mediterranean climate. I'm gonna say it's a Sicilian wine, Catarato. Because it's so spicy and stuff, I'd say volcanic soils.
Portuguese Trexiadora, that's pronounced by an American from New York. I would say that this bottle is $38.
Catarato from Sicily, $52 a bottle.
The most expensive one, because Portugal.
Delicious.
Wine number 3 is Laurent Barth's Riesling. It's his Origin L Riesling out of Alsace in France. Really beautiful wine. It was a 2019, has some great age on it, a little bit darker golden color. Might confuse some people, might think it's skin contact, but it's just from the age. A little oxidative, really beautiful kind of silky texture, great acid, kind of a limey, citrusy fruit quality, a little bit of stone fruit, which also kind of tricks people into thinking it's skin contact, but it's not. Great wine. He's out of, I believe it's pronounced Benweer in Alsace. What did y'all think of wine number 1?
I loved it. It was great. Really super interesting as far as like what you smell on the nose and what you get on the palate. Bubbles on it were really texturally sexy.
I thought they were all really hard. I liked wine number 1. I would be really happy if I walked into somebody's house and they poured this for me immediately. Kind of reminds me of Tepache.
It is kind of cider adjacent. This is sparkling Glera from Veneto. So
wow.
Technically this is a skin contact Prosecco. Done in a more rustic style. Yeah, 100% Glera. This is Costa di La, which means the hill over there. Does have lees aging, you clocked that. It's just slightly frizzante. This wine is called 330 SLM, which is just the meters above sea level that the wine is, where the wine is produced. Just a lot going on. I love this wine.
Wow,
super fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I didn't pick Prosecco at all.
Yeah, they're doing it col fondo, so it's ancestral, so it's a little bit different. It's definitely like the more traditional way that they would make Prosecco long time ago.
Prosecco and Cava are like the same, so I was right?
Más o menos.
Yeah.
I totally see where you're both coming from with this. I'm still laughing at champagne from Spain.
Champagne from Spain.
Glera from Veneto. It used to be called Prosecco.
Yeah.
And then they changed it to Glera.
It was probably the Australians that
Yeah, it probably was. Yeah. I forgot to mention that the first one is non-vintage. What did y'all think of wine number 2?
Bit of a reductive monster on the nose, but then on the palate, it was nice and juicy.
You still getting a lot of reduction? Or you think some of it is blown off?
Some of it was blown off. When it settles down and you get to know it romantically in the mouth, it's actually really good. It's definitely like Gwyneth Paltrow, kind of has a lot of kind of decent, let's save the earth mentality behind her. Silky, elegant wine, so yeah.
Really
I was thinking more like Anne Hathaway from the Prada movie, but this was honestly my favorite one of all the wines. I liked the salinity to it.
Yeah.
I definitely liked how it was tight lips as well. Was first thing that came to my mind. Yeah, I just thought this was like really drinkable, which like I think you could easily pair this with honestly anything, from a starter to a nice salad in the middle of summer to a pasta dish, or like, you know, a roasted eggplant with miso and umami.
I was a little bit stumped because it does have a kind of umami or a moshy, peary kind of
savory edge to it.
Yeah, and so I was like, what could it be from South France, or could it be those kind of neutrally wines that you might get a little salinity in the soils? But then what did I go for? I went for Averagnon. Just for fun.
I totally see that. I could totally clock this as a coastal Spanish or Catalonian wine, 100%.
It'd be crazy if this was like the coastal Mexican style ones that you can start tasting. Yeah, the
like
Baja. Yeah.
It is not. It's quite far.
You know,
That would be cool.
we gotta try sometimes.
This is Chenin Blanc from Janière in the Loire Valley. This is Domaine Le Briseau, 80-year-old Chenin Blanc vines.
That's where you get the Anne Hathaway from.
It is aged in barrel. I think there's like a light sulfuring at bottling. But yeah, love this project. I'm a huge fan of Chenin Blanc. There's usually like at least 2 or 3 on my list. And they make really cool Pinot d'Aunis as well. But this is one of my favorite wines from them. This is a 2023. So yeah, definitely like younger style. Great wine. I think it would be about 35 on our shelves.
Chenin always stumps me, like every time I blind it.
Totally. I'm like, is it a Riesling? Is it a... I
never think Chenin. I gotta drink more
It is a
Chenins.
very... I think it's an atypical Chenin from the ones that I typically drink, because it does have a touch of reduction, but...
A friend of mine gave me a Chenin the other day, and I said Albarino as well.
All right, wine number 3. I'm actually a little surprised you didn't clock this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a little bit. I was
Is it
like, oh,
Aussie?
Sam will get it.
Is it Australian?
No.
Damn it.
I thought it was port, honestly. I got straight port on the nose.
I think I was stumped by the colour. Maybe it's got a bit of age to it.
It does.
It does?
This is a 2019.
Okay, yeah. It does remind me of like Sicilian whites
See
for
that?
some reason.
See that?
And I just think it's like super fun. Now the wood's kind of coming out a little bit more, so you get this hint of cedar to it. Really lovely. It cleans up nicely. It's good to see something with a bit of age, because rarely do we have stuff with age in this show. Maybe next week.
Yeah, I liked it. I honestly thought it was gonna be a lot heavier on the palate.
Right.
I thought it was gonna taste like a lot more sugar. When you drink it, it's super light, really juicy. The acidity is like nice and light. You can kind of tell that like it's been sitting for a second.
Yeah.
But
All right. This is 100% Riesling from Alsace.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 2019 Riesling from Alsace. This is Laurent Barth. Origine L Riesling, another old vine wine. I get a little bit of like lime peel and a little stone fruit.
I keep feeling it still.
You're going crazy. I think about 56 on the shelf.
All these wines were incredible. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Yeah, they're really good.
My
And it's
pleasure.
like, I love to be stumped by wines.
I was the closest, so I think I think I won this episode. So.
All 3 wines are from Louis Dresner Selections, which is one of my all-time favorite importers. I work with them super heavily at ESP, do a lot of special orders, and they just represent fantastic winemakers that I'm super excited about. The dish that I'm pairing the wines with is prepared by...
My name's Eric Vollono, private chef here in Denver.
Holy, look at those chips.
I made a marinated eggplant over edamame puree with a little bit of crispy onion and cilantro.
Puffed rice crackers.
Oh,
amazing.
It's a fun dish. It's got influence from a lot of my career. There's some cane vinegar in there, cane syrup in there, a little bit of sambal, mushroom shoyu.
Lots of sweet, herbaceous, umami flavors, a lot of cool textures that I got to play with.
Chip, man.
These are beautiful.
Wow.
I just went straight in.
No, please.
Yum.
That's delicious, dude. Wow. Yes, that's good. Like that.
That was all really good. Super tasty. Kind of like the first one
Yeah,
with
me
it,
too.
because there's so much like fat and roundness going on with the dish itself that the mousse and the sparkling really help like kind of bring it all together. But I haven't tried it with the last one yet.
The last one is really nice with it as well. Oh yeah, that's a great pairing. I like the first two. I don't think the Shannon is necessarily a bad pairing. I don't think there's anything conflicting. It's just not as interesting. I feel like it's not like accentuating the flavors as much as the other two are. It also has, I think, the lowest amount of acid. And I think this dish needs a little bit more acidity to cut through some of the fat and the creaminess and all that.
Yeah, I think the first and the last one are the best ones with it for sure. I like the way that the last one complements everything. The fat, the acidity kind of all comes through, and then you still really get to taste the eggplant and all the rest of the dish, which is really nice.
I must have been hungry.
I might go with the Riesling for my favorite. It plays off the little bit of sweetness in the marinade really nicely, the eggplant.
Yeah, I think the Riesling for sure wins on the taste.
It's really delicious. Thanks, Eric. Food's like
Thank you, chef.
super fun. I'm going to stick, although I don't think it was my favorite of the lineup, but I think a little bit of bubbles really cleans up the palate. And I think there's a lot going on in the dish. You might need a little bit of clarity. And I just felt that the Riesling left a little lag on my palate. But I think that the sparkling cleans up your palate really nicely. So you just like, I found myself eating quicker when I was drinking the sparkling. No, that's not necessarily a good thing. But if you're a glutton, it's sexy.
I prefer the flavor complements of the Riesling with the dish, and I prefer the style and the bubbles, the frizzante nature of the first one more. So if I could combine that,
is what you want though.
you think?
That lag of flavor.
Yeah, because you like, unless you're like at like you're sitting at like an hors d'oeuvres party, then I'd want like, if that was your one bite and you were just kind of like talking, hanging around, then yes, for sure I'd want the champagne. But if you're sitting down, you want something like the Riesling from Alsace because you want the lag. If you keep on taking more bites and more sips, it kind of starts developing over and over again. And I think that's what really makes the Riesling a little bit nicer. I'm going with wine number 3.
I have to agree. My favorite pairing was the Laurent Barth Riesling. I thought it just complemented all the flavors super well. Really cool age on it. I wish that it was sparkling because I do think the frizzante helps cut through a lot of the fat. But overall, the Riesling would be my favorite.
Me being a party monster, just love a cocktail party. I'm going to say wine number 1, just to get some more free canapes in your mouth.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I guess.
I know the darkest one is the third and the sparkling is the
What's the name? What's the name of the third one?
On camera, they can feel your anxiety.
I might have to do 2 different takes because my brain is a little spicy.
That was my best take.
Welcome to 3 Blind Wines.
I've been working on my traps, so I can definitely hold this up for a long time.
You got a little fuzz on your face.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, you got it.
Love is blind.
Be less drunk.
Oh, wait, what is it? The food and wine game show where nobody wins anything?
Reputable.
Welcome to 3 Blind Wines.